All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call this meeting to order of the Mayor and Board of Commissioners of Rising Sun for March the 28th, 2017. Will you rise with me for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will you bow your heads with me for a brief prayer, please? Father God, I come to you tonight on behalf of the town of Rising Sun, God. I pray that you watch over our elected body and their families as well as our citizens, God. Please be with our police department as they're on duty this evening and be with our armed forces that are overseas serving to protect us, God. I ask that you watch over us as we leave here this evening and be with us until we gather again tomorrow, next month. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Can I get the roll call, please?
Commissioner Pearson,
Here.
Commissioner Warnick,
Here.
Commissioner Braun,
Here.
Commissioner Arthurleith,
Here.
Mayor Marion.
Here.
Let the record reflect that all the elected officials are present.
All right. First is our public presentations, and that's Ms. Donna Staley from the Rising Sun Post Office.
Hi.
Hi.
First, I'd like to say thank you for giving me a moment on the agenda to talk to everyone. The reason I'm here today is over the past couple months, I've had a lot of customers coming to me and telling me that more and more businesses are refusing to put the P.O. box on their mail. And this is concerning the people with the free P.O. boxes because we don't service the town. So around the first week in February, I went to my address management because I said, this is really becoming a problem. These people need to get their mail. And they introduced something to me that is called a shadow route. Normally, when the mail goes through the system, it reads the address. If it doesn't recognize it because it doesn't have a P.O. box, it would reject it. So I've spent the past month or so working on this shadow route. And what that is, when the mail goes through the machine and it reads it now, instead of rejecting it, it drops it down to a shadow system. The shadow system has the ability to take this street address and say, wait a minute, it's in conjunction with this P.O. box. It takes that piece of mail, puts it in perfect order. This is something I've worked very hard on for the past month or so, getting it up to date, and it's in. And we have gone from a tray of reject mail that takes time to sit in front of the computer and look it up and try to get an address to a P.O. box, down to this much. So we are seeing great improvements there, and I wanted to share that. I'm very excited about this new program. I think it is going to greatly improve the service for the town. Also, another thing that I wanted to discuss is I find that a lot of people are saying that our lobby is small and it gets congested with the people having to wait in line to get their parcels. Well, I don't know if you've noticed, but we tried one set of parcel lockers out in the lobby. I have ordered an additional set because it does help, and that will make 16 customers each day that don't have to come in that line to get their parcels. So that should be coming in soon. It's already been ordered and approved. And those are some of the changes that we are making. Let's see here. The other thing that I wanted to talk to you about is, with your permission, I would like to come to some town hall meetings to get some feedback. We're trying to improve service and we want to improve our relationship with the town. But if you will allow me to come to the meetings, I'd like to hear comments, concerns. I'd like to hear if we're doing better, because we have put a comprehensive plan together to improve the service to the town. And that's, unless anybody has anything for me, that's all I have for 2 weeks till the next meeting.
No, I would say on behalf of our elected body, we'd love to have you here, Ms. Staley. By chance, do you have contact information like an email or a number?
I do.
That you could either give it to me after the meeting or you
Sure,
could see our
I'll
town
give you my
administrator.
business card.
That would be great. I don't know if you would like, if our residents have complaints, how would you like them to handle that? If they want you to come see you directly, or if they can shoot you an email?
They
or
can give me a
number?
call right on the post office telephone, and we'll
Okay.
deal with problems directly.
Okay, that sounds great, and we will love to have you here. So,
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
I got a question for you, Don.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Has there been any means to try to improve who gets what mail?
Yes, actually, that's something else that I have implemented. I brought an extra clerk in the morning, and I've changed my schedule. The goal is to get the mail to the carriers as fast as possible. That way they're not rushing what they're doing.
I'm talking about getting the right address.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. They can
Okay.
slow down and they can look where they're casing this mail. I did that in attempt to improve the quality of the delivery, so they're not as rushed. With 2 extra bodies on board, they're getting the mail about 40 minutes earlier now. So, and I've told them, you take this time to concentrate on where you're casing this mail because we need to improve service. Missed deliveries definitely have to be decreased. So yes,
I have a question.
yes, ma'am.
You have like in town, why does that mail from in town have to be sent down to Baltimore and brought back up?
That's a good question too. I believe that that's how they get their count on how much mail we deliver annually. It goes through machines downtown that count it. I think you'll find that almost every town has gotten rid of their local box.
Because I know the postmaster had it before, they used to do that themselves, they put it in the thing and they could do like so,
Right.
a lot, you
Well,
know, so it didn't have to go down.
right.
That way it wouldn't get lost.
There is a secondary reason for why the mail goes downtown. I don't know if all of you remember, but we had an anthrax problem, and every piece of mail goes through an anthrax detector, and that's why we have to send it. We want to protect our community, so everything goes downtown and goes through the anthrax detector, excuse me.
I would say,
Okay.
and I know, speaking for elected body, we want the Rising Sun Post Office to be successful. We want it to serve as a good quality of life for our community. We're looking forward to seeing these improvements. I know that you've put them in place and you've said that you've already seen improvements. But we would love to have you here as well, and any complaints that we have or see, even if they're not complaints, if they're good things, we'll definitely try to pass them on to you.
Great, I appreciate that. Communication is the key for all of us. If I know there's a problem, we can address it and improve it. And so I thank you again.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks. Thank you.
All right. We have no business meeting items. Chief, do you have citizens input? Thank you. All right, Mr. Barr.
I just got one item. I'm Bill Barr. I live in Valley View. It seems to be a growing more and more problem down in the village with trailers showing up. I realize it's public parking in there, but it's creating a mess. I mean, there's one in the lower end that they constantly, it's hard to get by the truck when they have it hooked to the trailer. That's enough, Lisa.
Sorry.
Yeah, and I know what's said on my deed. No campers, no nothing, no trailers, the whole 9 yards, and I just want to know if it can be enforced.
We'll have the chief look into it.
Okay,
Absolutely.
thanks, Chief.
Is that on any property? Can you have any kind of trailers on any kind of property, public parking?
Are you, it depends on what type of trailer.
I'm talking about trailers like you haul, machinery or something that, on that aspect.
In our
Yeah.
current code, it has some specs where it can't haul over a ton, things like that, so it depends on the type of trailer.
But they can park it on a private, on a public?
Like in a development,
Yeah.
even though what
Can
our,
you-
Well, it
can you
doesn't
park
matter, it's still
those?
public.
Some commercial vehicles you can park there, some you can't. I mean, it's gonna be dependent on the specific type of equipment that's there.
I'm just talking in reference to just a trailer park, just a trailer.
Like
Can
the
they park-
motorcycle
like,
trailers and all of that stuff. that's
Yeah,
just parked
anything
down
like
in there.
that.
Some of them can, some of them can't. But we'll come down and take a look, and that's why some have been sitting there.
That's what I was wondering, because if that's true for our area, that means that they could come and park up in these parking lots and nothing could be done because it's public parking.
Well, they're time limited,
Or are they?
yes.
How about the ones in town, Main Street?
Along the road, most of the main street's 2-hour parking.
Okay, I was just wondering.
that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Barr. Ms. Maynard?
In reference to snow removal, down in our, please don't take my picture, Lisa. Please, please. If we shovel the snow we remove the snow from the parking area, can anybody come in and park? Reason being is there was a fight down there this last snow. No, the cops were not called. I was not getting into the middle of it, okay? Between a man and a woman, and let me tell you, the language is not pretty, and I was not dealing, I wasn't getting involved in it. But, you know, he had a point. We sit here and we remove all the snow, but anybody can come in and park?
The spots in Valley View are not assigned, are
They're
they?
not assigned parking spots. Unfortunately, it's not the polite thing to do. If somebody worked hard to remove snow in a spot, you would think that you'd allow them to go back and park, but everybody's not polite. So,
Oh, no, because they heard the fight all the way up on top of the hill, and this was at the bottom.
I got calls about a screaming match a couple days later about a parking spot. But again, it's unfortunate that the parking spots are not assigned down there, and it happens.
Well, we went through this before, and you and Calvin tried to get the people to meet to do something, and nobody, they want to complain, but they don't want to do nothing about it. So,
That's exactly right.
kids on skateboards. And I know you guys have been in there, they need to do something because they start at the top of the hill and they sit on the skateboards. They don't stand, and the other night I almost hit 3 of them.
Most of them don't have helmets.
Most of them need to have real parents out there, and none of them do.
Yeah.
I think that's all we have, wasn't it?
I'm putting numbers on my parking spaces.
Don't go there, Mr. Bell.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Would anyone else like to speak this evening?
I'm speaking on behalf of myself. My name's Kenneth Wilson and my brother Stephen Wilson. We live a short distance outside of town, and we're both due to retire very shortly. Excuse me. We've been very careful to collect a sizable amount of capital to invest in a after-career business, and we've been preliminarily looking at a couple of franchises that do not require a large demographic. Rising Sun does not have a large demographic. I love Rising Sun. My brother loves Rising Sun. We've been around for quite some time in Cecil County. To be quite honest with you, we're also looking at another municipality besides Rising Sun. And I'll tell you what our concerns are. Let me tell you what the pros are. We're very impressed with the policing in this town. Very impressed. We do pay attention to the Herald. And on that same note, we do pay attention to the Herald and the Cecil Whig. And for several years now, we've noticed a lot of infighting going on. I know a lot of it's been settled right now. But we do have a concern because we are looking at a franchise with a small demographic. Basically, our business is going to be based upon and successful based upon reputation. Now, I don't want to make this a personal thing. I certainly do not, because if and when I come to you and make an official request or presentation, I don't want any hard feelings here, but I have to be honest with you. Over the last several weeks, I've noticed, I've paid attention that a couple of businesses or services in this town have been targeted by a member of this board, and it's drawn quite a bit of attention from certain members. I'm concerned about that. I'm very concerned that if that were to happen, say if we opened up a business and someone publicly presented derogatory information, whether it's accurate or not, how it could be very detrimental to a business. Why should I not be concerned about that? And I'm going to leave that question open. So that's something we're going to take into account when we choose to go forward with our business, one or the other. And I just have to tell you, this is my concern right now, because it does become public that when a certain official of this town makes certain statements that may or may not be minor, or maybe a little bit more than minor, they do draw negative attention to certain entities within the town, whether the business or in this case the post office or Martin's or any other place. People do pay attention. So I just wanted to let you all know that we do have a concern about that. And when we come to you, I'd like to get that addressed, if and when we do come to you in a more official capacity. So I just wanted to plant that seed and see where that goes from here. Any questions, any issues, concerns? Nope. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak this evening? All right. Chief?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. My report's going to be a little brief tonight. We responded to 446 calls for service. The officers used 36 hours of vacation, 12 hours of sick leave, and I had an officer on light duty for approximately 48 hours. Along Main Street, the complaint of speeding vehicles and issues with driving along Main Street, this is the enforcement that resulted of patrols there. 18 vehicles stopped for speeding, 19 for equipment violations, 31 for other violations. Also along Main Street, we had 6 CDS arrests, which it could be heroin, meth, marijuana, so forth. Well, 2 marijuana, 2 heroin, and 6 others. So that's pretty much the gamut of anything else, mushrooms and all of that stuff. 3 fugitives were arrested from other agencies. 1 warrant service for failed to appear for his drug case, and 1 disorderly arrest and resisting along Main Street. On the other roads around town, we had 7 speeding on Queen Street, 3 equipment violations, and 13 other. North Walnut Street, 10 speeding, 3 other violations. Mount Street, 2 speeding, 2 equipment violations, and 7 other violations. Pearl Street, 4 speeding, 1 equipment, 1 other, and an unusual disorderly resisting arrest incident yesterday. On the other roads around town, we had 12 speeding, 1 equipment violation, and 8 other. We also had a juvenile assault, and that's pretty much what we've done in enforcement-wise around town. We do have events coming up that should be noted because they will affect traffic throughout town. The Rising Sun Little League Parade is April 8th. The Tiger Trot is April 22nd. The drug take-back, we will have officers out manning the drug take-back on the 29th. That doesn't affect traffic, but it's an event where we're receiving any old prescription medication. It can be brought to us and disposed of properly. And then on June 3rd, the Rising Sun Sunfest. With that being said, that is my report, well, with one more exception. As you all know, we highly recommend and we participate in the Shop with a Cop event. It's been brought to my attention that the officers have been awarded with certificates from the governor's office for our volunteer work and participation. And I believe there's more to come from that, and I'll have a better report with that in coming meetings. And if there's no questions from the board, that's my report.
Thank you, Chief. Town Administrator?
Thank you, Mayor. Before you, in addition to the piece of paper that has the agenda, you'll see a preliminary draft schedule of the budget process starting out on April 13th. Predominantly, we're looking to pencil in meetings for Thursday evenings, and then a couple of updates to be done at town meetings, with the idea of adopting the budget around June 13th. of 2017. As we did last year, we're predominantly looking to start these meetings at 6:30 in the evening, run them for an hour and a half, 2 hours or so, and be out of here by 8:30. As of right now, I believe we have 9 meetings scheduled. And as we did last year, my recommendation is to keep this fluid and flexible depending upon the feedback we get at meetings and what kind of information needs to be gathered for the next meeting. But this generally is the proposed budget calendar. The other item I wanted to address is to give an update on the updates to the stormwater management regulations in the state of Maryland. Commissioner Braun and I sponsored or held a meeting with the county and some other Cecil County communities about the new stormwater regulations and the trickle-down effect that it has on the local level. This clearly is what we like to call an unfunded mandate. I don't have quite yet an idea of how much this would cost us, but it could be $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 of additional expense initially because of some of the things that we need to do. Now, basically what it comes down to is the state over the years, probably through pressure from the EPA, has been really tightening down on clean water initiatives. And they started out by requiring the states to be responsible for that. Then they phased it into counties being responsible for it. Now they are phasing it into local jurisdictions having certain requirements that have to be met. So as this develops, we'll be able to report back to you more, but it is essentially an unfunded mandate. From the development side of it, there's still a lot of exciting things going on in town. I'm still getting a lot of phone calls. I was just on the phone for about 40 minutes yesterday morning with a development group that just wants to know when the Chester water line is going to be built because they want to begin marketing their property. So there's, predominantly what we're getting right now is commercial. There is an interest in commercial building pads that want to locate to the area. So those are the inquiries that we're getting. Riviera Maya, as you may or may not know, is going under. They have relocated to the restaurant, the old restaurant down at the corner of Ryan Drive and Main Street.
The old townhouse.
Yes. I think the residents are really going to be impressed with the renovations that they're doing on the inside. They have borne no expense in the quality of the tile work. It is going to be reminiscent in being in, a Mexican, Hispanic motif down there. The even down to the light fixtures that they're putting on the walls. There's a lot of imported tile work that's being brought in, so it's really going to be impressive. They also, where the ice cream, outdoor ice cream stand was in the back, they've torn all of that down and they're building a very large deck in the back, which is pretty neat from a code standpoint because it's now going to be handicap accessible. They didn't want to just piecemeal something in there, so it's going to be a deck that's going to go right up to the door level in the back of the property to make it easier for people with disabilities to be able to get out the door. They're barring no expense on that. The front walkway, which was technically put in under the idea that it was ADA compliant many, many years ago, and I've seen that a lot in this community where people have made an effort in the past to do what they think is ADA compliant, but in reality it's not. they didn't blink an eye of tearing all of that concrete off and putting a whole new access ramp up to the front door. And they're even going to the extent of putting some exterior a tile motif on the outside also. So it's really going to look impressive, what they're doing in there. Also, Harrington Auto Body apparently is, there may be new ownership taking over there at Harrington Auto Body. I met potentially with an individual who's interested in that. They're excited about some of the things that they want to be doing down there. We have some people, one developer that is interested in purchasing more than one property down in the west side of Main Street, down near bottom of the Hill Grill. They're interested in purchasing a couple different properties down there, combining them all together and doing something, interesting down there. So these are the kinds of discussions that the town's never really had with anybody over the last, 10 years, 12, 15 years, whatever. So it's really interesting how people are paying attention to the town of Rising Sun and are very interested in investing in this community and establishing some businesses. We also have a residential development of a couple townhouses that someone is interested in starting construction on some townhouses in the area, which is pretty significant because I've only heard this secondhand. I've not seen it myself, but there's haven't been a whole lot of new housing starts in Cecil County over the last year or so. And so it's pretty significant if somebody comes in and wants to begin construction on some new townhouses rather quickly. So I'll keep you in the loop on that, but there's a lot of good things coming the town's way for sure. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Town Administrator. All right, we have no Historical Preservation Commission report. Do we have any old business tonight? Do we have any new business? All right, move into the mayor's report. As you know, we had to cancel our last meeting for a lack of quorum, and then we did have our snowstorm. Speaking of our snowstorm, I do want to give a big shout out to our Public Works crew who worked tirelessly to make sure that our streets were clear and that our sidewalks were walkable. So a big shout out to our Public Works crew for doing such a hard job and working 24 hours to make sure our roads were clear enough for the public to be able to go on. There were two different events I attended at Rising Sun High School. One was the Children of Eden play. It was amazing. It was a great play, and you would be surprised to think that you were actually sitting in Rising Sun. So a big shout out to all those kids that did that play. It was really well done, and they worked really hard on it. The next one I just recently attended last Saturday night, and that was the cabaret performance by the chorale, chamber choir, and the soloists. It was a dinner that was held at the Rising Sun Firehouse, and they did an amazing job. We definitely have some very talented kids in our high school, and I look forward to seeing more of their concerts. They're actually getting ready to head down to D.C., where they will be playing at the Kennedy Center, so that's pretty amazing. So a big shout out to Rising Sun High School for all their hard work and making sure that those kids perform at such an amazing level. The next thing was I attended with our Board of Commissioners the opening of the Edward C. Plumstead Giraffe Center. It's a Giraffe Conservation Center. Commissioner Auchenreith is actually holding one of the T-shirts for a girl with Jimmy. They are trying to get Jimmy the giraffe a girlfriend. They're doing different fundraisers, but the Giraffe Conservation Center is beautiful. It's an amazing facility. I want to say a big thank you to Nick and Cheryl Lacavera, who put in such hard work into rehabilitating the zoo to make it not only an educational facility for our citizens, but also a great place to go and visit. It's very aesthetically pleasing, very clean, and it's a beautiful facility. So congrats to them and to Jimmy. We presented the staff and Nick and Cheryl with citizen citations on behalf of our community for their hard work with that center. The next thing is I wanted to say that I spoke at the Cecil Leadership Academy with the other mayors from throughout our county. It was a well put together event. I was grateful that they asked me to come and to learn about how the different towns govern and how Rising Sun differs from them, and just to learn about a little bit what's going on in their community. So it was a great event, and I thank Cecil Leadership Academy for having me there to speak. And the last thing is actually these shoes, which have been sitting up here. These were done by a local artist. Her name is Patricia Jebsen. She's from the Rising Sun area. She contacted me knowing that I have a love of Vans shoes, and she wanted to create an art piece. So it actually has Town Hall on the side, Sun Pharmacy, James Church, and then it has my Labrador on the other shoe. His name is Lincoln. So a big shout out to Patricia Jebsen for making that possible. And for doing that walkable piece of art that I'll be able to wear. I'm going to wear them at Sunfest so that people can check them out. But that concludes my report. I'm going to go ahead and give it to Commissioner Auchenreith.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just to give you a little update, with the winter time we've been going through, we haven't been doing a whole lot on the Chester water line other than a lot of the red tape design engineering. We didn't want to get into the middle of construction of a project like that during the winter. So we, now that the weather is getting ready to break, we're ramping things back up on that, and we're hoping to have some really good things to report to you over April and May and June. Back to the snow issue, Brenda, I wish we had an answer to things like fights over parking spaces. For as long as I've been in Maryland and time I've spent in Baltimore, there's fights, the dreaded lawn chair in the parking space, people, and, it just comes down to a little patience and a little respect. Get out there and help each other. But our guys, that snow was a crazy snow. It rained on it and everything, and then froze up hard as concrete for the next 2 days. And Ron and his crew were out there. We only got 4 guys, and they were working together. Me and Commissioner Warnick and the mayor were coordinating with Ron of, trying to get to important places that may have gotten plowed in during the initial plowing, and then school bus stops where the kids were, standing, and some of the businesses we talked to had to bring in other equipment to clear the sidewalks, because that stuff froze up like concrete the next day. But then here we are 2 weeks later, and you can't even tell, except for a few places, that we had snow 2 weeks ago. And when I tell people how much we had that are just over in like Chesapeake City, they're like, get out of here, you didn't have that much snow over there, because they didn't get nothing. So that was a really, fortunately we only had that one. We did need it. I don't know if many of you know, we were in semi-drought conditions because the moisture content in the first 12 inches of dirt was dry. And now we're at a time when all the farmers, and Mr. Jackson, you can probably attest to that, starting to turn over the dirt, getting it ready for the spring planting, and it was pretty dry. So it was tough, but it was a little bit of a blessing in disguise, and a little bit of rain here. We really need it, and don't forget that, because we do need that rain. So like Travis said, kudos out to Ron, Daryl, Grant, and Chris George for all the work they got out there and did. And I don't think it hit our overtime too hard this year, so that's really good for our upcoming budget. And just another, back to the zoo thing, we did attend a great event Saturday night out at the zoo. We were able to be part of the ribbon cutting, and I'm very thankful to Cheryl and Nick for bringing us up there and making the town of Rising Sun first and foremost to them. They're out in the county, they're not in town, but they embrace our community here in the town, just like they were in town limits. And since they took over out there, go out there, because every time you go, you're going to see something new. Their staff are so excited. We got a good hour tutorial on the Bitteron Oscar, and they're very passionate out there. Go out and buy their t-shirts. Let's help Jimmy, who's 21 years old, been single for 21 years. He loves salads, walking in the pasture. He's got a beautiful new home, room for a family now. And the great thing about it is, he can see out now. And it's one of the things they talked about, that he's just fascinated to be able to see outside during the snow and everything. So get out there. Every little bit helps. They are thankful for everything. People are asking, what do you need? I heard them say bleach. They need bleach. Who'd think a zoo needs bleach? But, a lot of cleaning to be done day after day after day. And all of us that are animal lovers, when you're up close and personal with a giraffe like that, you get to see them in that face, you know, you get a different feeling toward them. And it was great to be able to spend that time there the other night. And Robert Hodge was out there, our local county guy, Dan Schneckenberger was out, Rupert Rossetti, a lot of officials were out there supporting the zoo. So let's support them. Let's go out there and see what they need. Go out and check it out. They have a lot of great fundraisers out there, and let's just support them. They're part of us. We're part of them. And as Calvin said, you know, we got a lot of meetings coming up, and we heard a lot last year that nobody knew about them. So they've been announced tonight. We're going to be having a lot of budget meetings, just like we did last year. We don't want anybody to say at the end of it, oh, I never heard anything about it. There'd be plenty of opportunities for everybody to come out, because this board for the past couple of years has taken the time to have a lot of budget meetings and go over this budget and really tighten our belts and our finances. So if you want to know what's going on, there's plenty of time to come out between April 13th and June the 13th for that.
Will that be on the website, on the town website?
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
And for those that, you know, don't have computers, we're going to have it in several different venues so that everybody has an opportunity, from posted on the front door to the website to in the WIG and the Herald, I'm sure, so that everybody will know about it. And please, we invite you to come out. We're not trying to hide anything from it. So we want to thank, Donna, thank you for coming out from the post office. We've had a lot of input over the past few months about issues at with the post office, and a big one was with water bills, to where some of us would get our water bill and our neighbors next door wouldn't, and that's crucial. Your water bill, your electric bill, and we do have a program to where if you get it, come in, pay it early, you get a little discount, and we're hoping that once we work the bugs out, we can increase that discount. So we appreciate everything that the post office is doing and that you're helping do, and being transparent, and especially coming to the meetings, because we've had a lot of residents come, you know, ask us, you know, help us, please, you know, just iron out a couple of things. So thank you very much for coming tonight. I think that's all, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Autenreith. I did want to say a big thank you to Commissioner Autenreith. Last year, near the end of last year, I had a surgery on my neck and was out of work for a while, and he actually came over to help clear my driveway. So I've heard story after story of neighbor helping neighbor clear out of that snowstorm. So a big thank you to him and to everyone else that helped their neighbors. So Commissioner Braun.
Okay, the Planning and Zoning Board continues to meet twice a month, at least 2.5 hours each time, together with Dave Dahlstrom from the Maryland Department of Planning and Zoning, to work on updating the comprehensive plan. And we still have a lot to do on it. So,
Thank you. Commissioner Pearson.
Well, my job's easy because he says everything. No, I would like to just take a moment. I don't know if many of you know, but former resident Shirley Deppish passed away, and just like to send our sympathy to her family. Outside of that, that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Pearson. I know that we've sent a nice flower arrangement on behalf of Rising Sun Police Department, because Shirley did spend some time working for our police department as well. So thank you, Commissioner Pearson. Commissioner Warnick.
Yep, just a couple things. We have the Tiger Trot. Mr. Boyd has asked us to make sure that the Tiger Trot is advertised in a number of venues, so we'll put it on Facebook. We've got it in the town meetings tonight and then the following meeting. So that's April 22nd. In addition, on April 22nd, if you don't feel like you can do a 5K, then we have a park cleanup down at Veterans Park. We'll have a little more details on that, but that'll also be out on the Facebook and the town's website. It's the annual
Stream.
water,
Clean.
stream clean,
Clean
yes,
Stream.
associated with Earth Day and River Sweep. It's the Chesapeake Bay. It's Clean Stream, but I'm missing a word. I can't think of it anyway. Project Clean Stream. That's it. So, in conjunction with the Octorara Watershed Association, so Rupert Rossetti and I, you can reach out to either one of us if you need any details, and that'll be at Veterans Park at 9 a.m. on the 22nd. So, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Warnick. All right, is there any more business come before the board this evening? I did want to remind you that the Planning Commission's workshop is April the 3rd, and then we have another one on April the 17th, and then our next town meeting will be April the 11th at 7 p.m. Those planning workshops are at 6:30 p.m. And the town elected body will also be participating in the Little League Parade, which is coming up soon. So with nothing before the board, can I get a motion to adjourn, please?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.